DeCorey Hale joins us this morning, and DeCorey candidate for Sylacauga City Council District 3 in the October 6th runoff. DeCorey, good morning to you, sir.
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well. For those of you who don't know, DeCorey worked overnight, and you know, we got to do the job, don't we, DeCorey?
Oh, yes, sir. Do what you have to do.
Absolutely. So it seemed like forever since this election, even the election earlier, but now you got the runoff, and it's less than 2 weeks away.
Yes, sir. I'm pretty excited about the runoff, and we've gotten out there, my team, and we've been able to get back out there and talk to people and, you know, kind of hear their needs again. And so I'm very excited about where it's going to take us.
What are some of the issues that you continue to hear about and talk to potential voters about, not just in District 3, which you'd be representative of if you are elected, but the city of Sylacauga as a whole?
Well, a lot of things are, of course, you know, vacant lots and things like that. But one of the main issues that kind of gets neglected is food insecurity. The national poverty average is 14%, anywhere between 10 and 14%. Alabama is anywhere between 15 and 20%, and Sylacauga, Lower Talladega County is anywhere between 20 to 25%. So you're looking at between 3,000, estimated between, well, I'll say between 2,500 and 3,500 people that are living check to check, or they don't know where their next meal is coming from. They don't know where their next check is coming from. And so these are things that, you know, I want to help do. You know, I want to help try to prevent, you know, food insecurity. And so a couple of buddies of mine, 5 years ago, actually, we started a food drive through SAFE, and we call ourselves the Friends of SAFE Initiative.
Long before you decided to run public office.
Yes, long before I started to, long before I even thought about public office. But I saw a need, and I decided to fill it. And so me and my buddies, we got together, and we said, well, hey, we'll do 40 meals, because at the time we were relatively unknown. I hadn't written a book yet, so nobody really knew who I was. And so we started out, we did 40 meals that year. The subsequent years, we did 50 meals. Last year, we were able to do 75, and this year we've set a pretty lofty goal of 100 meals. So I think we'll hit it because now we've built the momentum, and people kind of know what we're doing, and they know that we can be trusted, and they know that it's going for a good cause. So I'm excited about it.
No matter the outcome of the runoff election, October the 6th, food insecurity is here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Whether, you know, and a lot of times we just don't think about it because we take it for granted, because we're eating. We don't think that somebody else isn't eating. So, you know, but we just have to bring it, you know, we just have to bring it to people's attention. Like it had to be brought to my attention, you know.
It is said that experience is a great teacher. What have you learned from this political process in District 3?
I've learned that you have to be open, and you have to be willing to listen to what people say. And you have to be listening. I mean, you have to be able to hear what they say and not just, you know, not just take it and walk off, but actually make notes. Because like you said earlier, you know, I've been doing things. I've been working in the community years before I even decided to enter the political arena. So the things that I talk to them about are things that I take note of, and I always tell them, you know, regardless of outcome of the election, I'm still going to be here. I'm still going to be DeCorey Hale. I'm still going to be out here, a voice for the voiceless, and, you know, doing community service the same way I've been doing. And so I take notes, and even if I don't, you know, even if I'm not elected, I tell them I'm still going to make sure that, you know, these things are taken care of, because it's my community, and it's community first.
One of the, and it's still a hot topic today, is the pool. And even though we're getting to the fall of the year now, not a whole lot of use for pool, but it'll be back around again. And a possible new civic center here in Alabama. Your thoughts on these?
Well, I'm a proponent of the pool. Somehow, somebody thought that, I said, well, hey, let's replace the pool with the splash pad. But I never said that. What I said was I'd love to have both. As far as the Civic Center, I think it's a great idea. And the reason is because the two arguments that I hear for the pool are actually, if you think about it, they're actually counter arguments for the outdoor pool, if that makes sense. For instance, the word is that we have an Olympic caliber swimmer here, and that's awesome. That's amazing. But if you have an outdoor pool, if I'm an Olympic caliber athlete, I need to practice year round, and I don't need to practice just 3 months out of the year, and they drain the pool and I still end up in Ellick City or I still end up in Talladega because we don't have an Olympic sized pool and I can't practice. And another big thing is the water aerobics, the water therapy. I do understand that, my mom does water aerobics, but the need for the indoor pool is there because, what do we do in the wintertime? Because what if you're a rheumatologist or you're a general practitioner or your doctor says, well, hey, the biggest difference between locking your joints up and, having them flowing freely and having all your joints loose is doing water therapy and water aerobics every day. Well, we need a pool that is heated, one, and is inside so we can, so they can go every day. Because anybody with arthritis knows that arthritis is worse in the wintertime. And so that water therapy and that water aerobics is imperative in the wintertime. So we can't afford to have them take a break just because we have to drain the pool.
Mm-hmm. Some people would say location of the Civic Center would be so important. Main Avenue in the old Food World building has been the target of where possibly the city could look at in building a facility. What do you think of that?
Well, location is important, and I've heard people say negative things about Main Avenue. As you know, Main Avenue is in my district. Mm-hmm. Across the street is District 2. But what we have to understand is that nobody puts a new business or nobody puts a new venture in a neighborhood without taking care of that neighborhood. So what's going to happen is if they do decide to put it on Main Avenue, they're going to continue to build that neighborhood up through beautification processes. And, I've talked to a couple of people, Parks and Rec, and, I've talked to people that live around that area, and they're excited for it to come. Because the thing is that if something is in your neighborhood, you're more prone to take care of it because now you have that sense of ownership. It belongs to you, as opposed to something that, maybe 10 or 15 miles away. And, you kind of like it, but, it's not yours. So I think, if they put it there, I think wherever they put it, that neighborhood will rise up.
A lot of senior citizens in our community, a lot of senior citizens in District 3.
Yes, sir.
And how do you talk to them about their future? We've got a whole lot less miles ahead of us than we do behind us, so we're later in life. How do you contribute towards senior citizens?
Well, I do a couple of things. And like I said, I'm not a bragger, I'm not a boaster, but I just kind of do the work. Like, that's me. That's always been me. And I don't say, well, hey, I want to help. I actually get out in front of the people and I help. The biggest thing about seniors is, my mom's a senior, and so I take care of her, and I look at her, and I want the best for her. She's able to do everything that that I'm able to do, but I look at some people's parents and they're not, and so every month, I give back to them, whether it's food or whether it's time, and just going around and talking to them and just kind of seeing what their needs are. And even with Sylacauga Court and Sylacauga Towers specifically, and even Virginia West, which falls under the Housing Authority, last year when, the whole Michael Threet debacle, when he came in and was trying to strong arm the Housing Authority and everything like that, they called me and they said, DeCorey, we have a problem. This guy's coming in and he's trying to do this and he's trying to do that and he's going to leave them, and so kids and seniors are very important to me. And so I came down there. I told him, I said, well, hey, I'm working today, but I'll be down there tomorrow. And every day for about a week and a half, 2 weeks, I was there every morning at 7 o'clock. Not because I wanted a confrontation, but because these citizens deserve, they deserved answers. They deserve to know why you're trying to take over. And so a lot of the things that, that are not flashy, I'm behind the scenes working on a lot, and like I said, I just don't get out and brag about things because that's just not how I was raised.
What has been the most disappointment to you with the political process? You're running off now. There were 3 candidates originally. Now there are 2. What has been the most disappointing part of this process to you?
Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Brother Donnie Blackman for running a clean race, and we had a good time. And it was actually a couple of times I met him on the campaign, and I saw him on the street, and I cracked a joke, and he cracked a joke, and we laughed. He was out there with his wife, and we laughed, and we kept going. The biggest disappointment has been a lot of misinformation about me. There's been a lot of rumors spread about me, and a lot of things trying to discredit my character. And, these things are not true. And like I tell people, I pride myself on accessibility. Everyone in Sylacauga knows my number or should be able to get my number or can call me. So if you have a question about anything that you hear about me, just give me a call. That's all I ask. Just give me a call and we can talk about it. It may be true and it may not be true, but I believe that you should always get it, from the horse's mouth, so to speak. And, the biggest disappointment has just been, misinformation and, just people trying to, it's politics, people trying to slander your name, for their gain. And it's very unfortunate because when I really think about it, these people are people that I may have been able to work with in the future. But now I just can't do it because it's left such a bad taste in my mouth. But that's not to say that it's been an overall bad experience, because it's been great. I've been able to get out and talk to a lot of people, and for everybody that I thought I knew, it's twice as many people that I didn't know that I do know now. So I've had a couple of setbacks, but all in all, it's been great.
The polls will open at 7 o'clock and close at 7 p.m., less than 2 weeks on October the 6th. History will tell us that and teach us that less people will go back for a runoff than they would for the prior election. How do you get people back to the poll? That's a question a lot of people are trying to answer today.
Right. Well, we just have to tell them, you have to stress the importance of this election. The general election, when you have, when you have more than 2 people, there's always a bigger chance for a runoff. Most, as you know, we're the only 2 in a runoff. And so now you have to stress to people the importance and let them understand that their vote, is the one that can hang in the balance, because it could swing the pendulum either way. I could win or lose by 1 vote. And so now we have to say, well, hey, you can't just, I think sometimes people think that they can just go to bed and they think because this person is the most qualified or this person is the best for the job, that they can go to sleep and not vote and then wake up and this person is in office. But it does not work like that. You actually have to get up and you have to get out and go vote, make your voice be heard, because my biggest thing is that if you don't vote, you really don't have a dog in the fight. You can't complain about things.
DeCorey Hale, candidate for Sylacauga City Council District 3 in the October 6th runoff. And DeCorey, we wish you the best, and thank you for coming by this morning. And
yes, sir.
Final minute, not just to District 3, but speak to the citizens of Sylacauga about the upcoming 4 years should you be elected to Sylacauga City Council District 3?
Okay. Well, the next 4 years will be just like my last 10 years. My slogan has been and always will be turning words into action. That means that I'm not reactionary, I'm proactionary. I see a need and I feel it. I've always been that way. I will always be that way. So I understand that I would be the candidate and the representative for District 3, but I take care of the entire city. That's always been me, and that's what that's what you guys can look forward to. I feel like I have the most experience. I feel like I have the most qualifications. And so I would love to be your city council representative.
All right, DeCorey, thanks for coming by this morning.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
DeCorey Hale, candidate for Sylacauga City Council District 3 in the October 6th Sylacauga City election runoff. More Daybreak after this.
Hello, my name is DeCorey Hale, and as you know, I'm in a runoff for Sylacauga City Council here in District 3 to be determined on October the 6th. My slogan has always been and will always be turning words into action. So please, on October the 6th, I ask you cast your ballot for me, DeCorey Hale, and continue to let me turn those words into action for you. Thank you, and God bless.